not much happened during that period. It was a very sleepy backwater. And then everything changed in the decade of 1913 to 23, the decade around World War I, when nationalist and Islamist and other forces came into their own. And many of the issues current today, such as Israel, the existence of a Jewish state, a Kurdish state, a Christian state in Lebanon, and others, go back to that era. Many of the borders were created in that era. Many of the foundations, the modern Middle East, were developed in that era, and over the past 90 years are being worked out. So the history of that era is well worth understanding. And precisely the Palestinian identity goes back to exactly that era.
So when
Palestine came into existence as a modern entity, as a modern polity entity at that point.
and how Jewish was Palestine at that point? I mean,
It was, I can't give you exact figures, but it was predominantly Muslim.
But the Palestine Post was a Jewish paper.
Well, the term Palestine was a Zionist term. It's ironic that what has become the anti-Zionist key word today was back then a Zionist victory. Creation of the Palestine Mandate was a Zionist achievement. And Palestine Post, Palestine Symphony Orchestra, and the like were all indications of that Zionist use of the term Palestinian or Palestine. And then when the Zionists dropped that term in 1948, adopted the term Israel, it was there for the Muslim Arabs. And this reflects a larger pattern of Muslim Arab imitation of the Zionist movement. Put simply, the Palestinian doppelganger of the Zionist movement. Whatever the Zionists did, the Palestinians imitated, including taking the word Palestine. But whether it be the institutions, JNF, Jewish Agency, and so forth, or individuals like Chaim Weizmann, or the very notion of the Yeshuv and the Palestinian Authority, you find there's a Palestinian equivalent to whatever the Israelis did. And indeed Zionism, the love of Jerusalem, which was a purely Jewish phenomenon, is now, I would argue, more powerful among Muslims than it is among Jews. So, for example, in the year 2000, when Barak and Arafat were at Camp David and they were trying to reach a deal on Jerusalem, Barak just high-handedly made decisions about the future of Jerusalem, whereas Arafat went from city to city to get endorsement or not from Muslims about what to do with Jerusalem. It was a far more searching discussion about the future of Jerusalem among Muslims than among Jews. And this is a preeminently Jewish issue. What the Temple Mount and the Western Wall, this is not a geopolitical issue, this is a religious issue. And the Muslims were clearly more focused on Jerusalem than Jews. So I see whatever Zionists do, Palestinians imitate. I mentioned Chaim Weizmann. Chaim Weizmann set the tone of a globe-trotting representative of a people, non-state people. And then what was Yasser Arafat? The Yeshuv, which is a self-governing non-state actor. What's the Palestinian Authority? Very, very interesting.
Mordechai Kedar contends that Jerusalem was not a holy city to Islam to begin with, and was only made so because it was already holy to Christians and Jews, and so for political expediency, an exile.
He may say it, but I wrote the article. It's called "The Muslim Claim to Jerusalem." Big article, came out in 2000. I mean, I agree with it, but I documented this.
And what's the point if you just...
Well, the argument I make is that on, I believe it's 6 occasions, starting with Muhammad and ending with the 67 war, one sees a shift in Muslim attitudes towards Jerusalem. And time and again, political expediency is the key. So the Crusaders take it, the Muslims get upset. The Muslims get it back, they lose interest. The British take it, the Israelis take it, whatever. And in the case of Muhammad, it was not so much that who controlled it, but in his case it was attracting Jews to Islam by having the Qibla, the orientation of prayer, towards Jerusalem. It didn't work, so it changed towards Mecca. So over and over again, we can see that there's a utilitarian function for Jerusalem. Mecca is the real. Is what Jerusalem is to Jews, Mecca is to Muslims. Always paramount. Jerusalem comes and goes depending on circumstances. Yeah. Big article.
The year 2000, you wrote it?
The Muslim claim to Jerusalem.
I'll link to it.